Hello all my crafty people, and welcome to part 2 of our brand new Learn Your Sewing Machine series. This is for model number UFR-505. It is a 12-stitch mechanical machine, and in this video I'm going to be going over all the different parts of the machine with you guys. So we're just going to do a quick overview of everything that's on the machine and what it's used for and everything like that. So first thing I'm actually going to do is turn this guy around, and you're going to be able to see here on the back, this is where the power cord and foot pedal are plugged in. Okay, so the first cord here, this right here is the power cord. So it's a pretty standard universal style power cord, which is actually really nice. You know, if you do ever end up losing the power cord for this machine, you could easily replace it with some sort of other kind of generic power cord, which is really nice. So it'd make it really easy to go to Staples or something like that and replace it. The next little piece, the next cord that you see here, is going to be the foot pedal. There's a foot pedal, it just plugs in right there. And this is a very small foot pedal. It's very teeny tiny. Again, this is a more generic style foot control plug, so I think this would also be pretty easy to replace if you needed to. And then in addition, on the bottom, which is really cool, I actually didn't know this when I purchased the machine, there's actually a place for batteries. So you could put in 4 AA batteries and use the machine that way. And you wouldn't even need the foot pedal, because right here, this off LH, this is high, low, and then off for sort of an auto sew. So you could have batteries in here, leave the foot control, leave the power cord, and you can sew off a battery operated, and then it has a little slider button here to sew with. So I thought that was really cool. This is really nice if you want to use this maybe on the road. Maybe you're going to be traveling in a camper, or maybe, you know, you want to be able to sew when you go camping. You know, my husband and I like to go camping every summer, and I never bring my sewing machine because we go tent camping, so it doesn't make any sense to bring something like that. But that's really nice if you're ever in a situation where maybe you're not going to have easy access to power, or you just want to make it even more portable, things like that. Maybe you're bringing it to a friend's house and you don't want to have to worry about all the different plugs and things like that. I think that makes it a really great option. Okay, I'm going to plug this guy in really quickly. There we go. And okay, so we started on the back. That was the 2 cords. Here on the side, this is going to be your hand wheel. As we know, the hand wheel moves the needle up and down. Okay, so that was the hand wheel. Right here we have all of our 12 stitches listed out on the machine itself. These aren't buttons, they are bubbled up a little bit, which is nice. It kind of makes them a little bit easier to read right here. But right here is actually the stitch selector. So this is the dial that you would turn to the number of the stitch. So number 1 right here is going to be your center straight stitch. Now on this machine, you're not going to be able to adjust the width or the length. The way that you're going to be able to kind of make a longer stitch is by choosing which one you want. So number 1 is the shortest straight stitch, number 2 is sort of a medium, and then number 3 is your longest straight stitch. You do have an option to have left needle position, which would be the number 4 stitch. And then these other guys are your other sort of specialty stitches. Right here we have our reverse, so we press and hold that down and it reverses for us, which is really nice. So our stitches are stitch selector. Here, this is a pretty universal feature. This is an upper thread tension. For the most part, most machines, I recommend just staying on a 4, especially if you're just working with cottons and things like that. Generally, all you would need is the machine to stay at a 4 for yourself. Unless you're going to be doing something specialty with your thread or something like that. The instruction manual will have some kind of tips and tricks on, you know, when to adjust that and things like that. Right here is the needle take-up lever. This is what brings the thread and the needle up and down. I did notice that this was a little bit loose. You know, so far I've done a little bit of stitching on the machine and it doesn't seem to be an issue at the moment, so I'm not too worried about it. But I did notice that was kind of loose. I think I could easily take this cover off and probably, there's a screw that I can see in there, so I could probably tighten it if I wanted it to. Alrighty, and then on this side here, we have the little thread cutter. So if you bring your thread up and around, it's just a little blade covered by a plastic piece to cut it. And then right here, this is actually the light switch. So you push it up and you can see the light turns on. And so I did kind of like that feature, being able to turn it on and off. It is an LED light. You can just tell by the color, but it is definitely lacking. I mean, you have to be in a pretty dark space for this to be sufficient, and it's just right over the needle. So that's a good spot for it if you're gonna have one, but you can see, so there's my finger in the light, and then as soon as I get right here, there's no light at all. So it would be very difficult to see what you were doing as you were approaching the feed dogs. So that would be just something to keep in mind. If you're going to be using this machine, if you have bad eyesight and you need a lot of light, you're definitely going to want an extra little light with this guy. All right, so this is going to be, you know, the presser foot. It comes with this regular sort of all-purpose straight stitch foot, and then it had a buttonhole foot with it, which I showed in the unboxing video, which you can find a link in the description down below for that. And so this is going to be snap-on style foot. You just move this, that clicks off, which is nice. And then you just lower the foot until it snaps back on. Let's see, it's going to cooperate for us. Okay, I don't know why that was so difficult, but there it is. Okay, and then in here, you're going to be able to see the presser foot up and down. You just lift that up, lift it down, and then as a slight, so there's down, there's up, and then there's a slight extended lift to it, not significant, so you know, you're not going to be getting too much from that part of it. Okay, here it has a little ruler, but it's in centimeters, which I found interesting. And then I've also noticed that there's no Singer designation on here anywhere, so I'm wondering if it is actually a Singer machine. When I looked it up on Walmart's website, I looked up Singer machines, and this was with some of theirs, but it doesn't say it anywhere, so I have a feeling this is like a generic version of a Singer machine. Okay, so anyway, so that's all those main parts. You know, right here you're gonna have the bobbin cover that just slides right off. It actually slides pretty smoothly, and I do like that it's nice and big. And then here's your bobbin and bobbin case. And then I'm going to turn this guy around again so you guys can see. It's a little bit easier to see from the back on this one. Let me make sure. This is the bobbin winder. So this clicks over. That's where you wind your bobbin. Here's your spool of thread. It came with the spool of thread, so it ended up coming with 2 spools of white. And then it had this little spool cap with it. So that was already on there. And then this is where your thread goes for when you're winding the bobbin and when you're threading the needle. Okay, and then the one other little extra thing was this is your little accessory tray. So I like that it's on that side. I do actually like that feature. And let's see if it'll hold. It holds like a spool of thread. But really, I mean, this is where I would put the extra bobbins and then the buttonhole foot that it came with. So that's right there on the right hand side, which is kind of nice. But there it is. That's all the parts and everything like that on the machine. It's, again, this is a very simple, basic mechanical machine. There's only 12 stitches on here. So there's not a whole lot to it. And as you can see, it's really small. I mean, there's my hand right there, and I have very small hands. So this is definitely more on the miniature side of sewing machines. And in the next video, I will be showing you guys how to wind the bobbin. We're gonna change the needle, then we're gonna thread it. Then we're going to clean out in the bobbin area. We're gonna take this whole plate off and everything like that. Show you how to keep it clean. And then how to replace the bobbin. After that, I'm gonna have a couple more videos. One will be a simple sewing project on the machine to see how it handles some basic beginner sewing projects. And then after that, I'm gonna do a video where I review the machine in its entirety. I'll be talking about the pros and cons of the machine and whether I think it's worth the about $60 that I paid for it. Alrighty guys, if you are interested in seeing more videos about this particular model sewing machine, or more videos about sewing machines in general, please don't forget to like and subscribe so that way you see all my new videos when they come out. Thanks so much and have a crafty day.